Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Shin Gear. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
That Wax Jack shirt, it's going to be mine. That's going to look great in the peanut fields of West Texas.
Well, I tried mine on last night. They're pretty comfortable. Did you not get yours yet?
Give me a break. He's a douche.
That's a terrible thing to say about people, Andy.
I'm talking about you.
I know what you're talking about. With us today from North Dakota, publiclandtees.com man, Mr. Sam Soholt. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing today?
I didn't butcher up the intro, so I'm doing good.
It is August 15th. We are in full ass get shit done at the lodge mode. When I say we, I mean they. I just walked in and got this set up, and they were all freaking out. And
Who was freaking out?
you were in a pissy mood when I walked in.
That's because I'd bump my leg moving shit around.
Yeah, right.
It's because I'm trying to figure out new stuff.
Yeah, so it is busy season here, which is good, though.
Yeah. Here too, man. I'm curious. It's like, do you make a list? I make a list every year of stuff I need to do before season starts.
I wish.
Yeah.
And somehow every year that list gets longer and longer and longer and longer. It's never
We
ending.
should. After 30 years of doing this, like, there should be a checklist. There is not. It is figure it out as we go.
We're really blessed.
Yeah.
The ladies have worked out here for a long time, so
Yeah.
they pretty much know what's going on. And so it works out real well. They know what they're doing. Like right now, they're busy doing stuff. Michelle's not out here. They know what they're doing. Michelle kind of hinders everything because she talks too much. So they get more done when she's not here. But my wife is the list person in our family. I hate fucking lists. I cannot stand when Michelle's like, would you like me to make you a list? No, you're going to tell me 15 times today what I'm supposed to be doing. So why do I need a list?
You know, my ADHD is so bad. If I don't make a list, I will forget everything.
I need a
I
list.
just have to.
I need a list. My memory has gone to shit ever since starting the podcast.
Yep.
And it's because I've got so many people's stories in here, and like my RAM is just full. So I had to take my son to the doctor yesterday, and it just is yearly checkup. But I had to ask my wife 3 times what the appointment time was, if it was 3 or 3:30.
Yep.
And then we were driving to the appointment, and I was like, because it's an hour away, and we were going to kind of spend the day there. And I was like, I texted her. I was like, is this at 3 or 3:30? So I need a list.
I'm an email guy.
Everything I got to do.
I email to the lodge all the time. Like if I sell a hunt in the night, I just had a guy just send me a message just now. He said, are you going to send me an invoice for that hunt? I was like, oh yeah. Let me call you in an hour when I get off the podcast. And I have him down. I just hadn't, and I just overlooked it. But I email myself. When I come in the mornings, I check my emails, and I'll have 3 or 4 emails that I sent myself during the night from myself.
Yeah.
Things so I don't forget. I don't make myself a list, but I email myself all the time.
There's a handy app.
It's kind of a digital
There's
list.
a handy app on your phone called Notes, and you can
I forget to look at it, but I check my emails when I come in the office.
Oh, there you go. You got to find what works for you.
That's
I mean,
right.
if I write myself a note about next August, I'll be like, son of a bitch, I missed that. So I email myself every day because I look at my emails all the time. So that works out really well for me. But I'm at that age too. But I hate lists. I don't mind if I write myself a list, but when my wife gives me a list, it makes my blood pressure spike up about 50. I've never given my wife a list in 30 years of being around her, ever.
You just expect her to do it.
Yeah. Well, you're a smart man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about all that, but I'm smart enough not to
Or at
send
least
her a
learning.
freaking list because I know where she'd tell me to put it. So what kind of adventures we got going on right now, Sam?
Well, I've seen your camp set up, so like you need a list.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
Man.
so
And
many moving parts that forgetting one of those on a camping trip could be catastrophic.
Yeah. And we, the funny thing is, like, I think the plan all along was to like kind of move and grow with the camp, had the bus, did the van, and just keep holding on to all those vehicles at the moment. So now it's like, okay, how do I shuttle this rig up here? I need a buddy to drive, drive my truck so I can drive the van. But no, it's all good. It's, just making sure it's all in one spot and then figuring it out from there.
Yeah, because like it feels like a good idea because you're like, oh, I got this bus and it's great. And then it's like, well, now I got to take the bus wherever I go.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes roads and conditions are not conducive to a school bus.
No. And then when you swap vehicles, like when you go from the bus to the van or whatever, it's like, son of a bitch, I forgot this, I left it in that storage compartment that was behind, it's like, yeah. So I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
But
I saw your turkey tour. You guys are, y'all are madmen.
Oh yeah. We go pretty hard.
Oh, roughing it 2 or 3, 4 hours of sleep and then like right back at it. Now, why are y'all not getting that much sleep? Are y'all jacking around, like telling bullshit and telling stories? Or is it because the daylight the way it is where y'all are hunting?
Yeah, it's I'd say it's a combo, but mostly the daylight, especially when you start hunting turkeys into May.
Right.
Man, it's just like the sun never goes down and then it comes up so early. But I am a firm believer, the longer I've turkey hunted, I'm a firm believer in that like 9 a.m. bird. I don't know how many times you go in, you sneak in there, you get them in on the roost, and then they pitch down and go somewhere else, or you screw it up and you bust a hen off the roost. Something happens. Whereas if you can get in there that like not mid morning, but like that kind of like right in that sweet spot, right when all the hens are going to nest and the toms are starting to like, freak out because they don't have a hen, you can get one fired up and get them killed mid morning. So you don't have to get up quite so early.
Yeah. That's why my least favorite time to turkey hunt is first light. And it's because we have a lot of hens down here a lot of times. And I just, my favorite time to hunt, I'll go out, like you said, 9 o'clock, kind of sneak in there, see what the birds are doing. And I love afternoon hunting. They're vocal. Yep. If you can hunt in the afternoons, I know a lot of states make you quit at like noon or whatever, but if you can hunt in the afternoon, that's the time I like to be out there.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. Nothing better than a midday bird.
Oh, I love it.
Fired up.
Because most of the time they put on a show. You know what I mean? Like he was way off and you heard him, and it's like there's more interaction on the midday birds. Where like a lot of times the morning birds just can kind of slip in and see what's going on. They dance a little bit better, those mid-afternoon birds.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's the way I like it. Where all did y'all go to?
So we hunted, we bounced really quick. So we hunted Montana, Idaho, and Oregon. And we started in Montana, went to Idaho for a few days, and then went to Oregon for a few days, and then back into Idaho, actually. So, it was a great trip.
Yeah. How many,
lots of ground.
How long were y'all there for? Like, was it a 2-week thing or a month? Like, how long were y'all away?
It was 10 days. 10 days of hunting. So it was, we were like moving pretty quick. We only did like a day and a half in Montana. One of the guys killed a bird the first day we were there. And so we scooted over to Idaho. And then we were all fired up because we had lots of birds talking and, lots of population, but they were all like grouped up sitting on the private. So then we scooted off to Oregon and we were like, man, this is like, we're like into day 4 or 5 and like had killed one bird. And we're like, this is, this is pretty slow hunting for, having 4 guys with, guns and like trying to get after it. And then like just the dates got right and everything started to shift and we started just killing some turkeys. It was fun. We had too much fun.
What was the elevation when you were in Idaho that y'all were hunting?
I'm trying to think. It wasn't super high. I feel like we were hunting somewhere in like that 3,000 to 4,000 foot range.
Were you dealing with? You deal with bears coming out of hibernation at that time?
Yeah, there's definitely bears. We didn't run into any bears, but there are bears coming out of hibernation. In Oregon, we were running into guys bear hunting. They were up there, and so we were trying to, if we saw a bear or whatever, we were like, well, give us your number. We'll point you in the right direction. If you spot any turkeys, text us and tell us there's birds on this ridge. So, but yeah, it was that time of year.
Aren't the bears dangerous when they come out of hibernating?
It can be, for the most part. If you're dealing with black bears, it's not. You got to be cautious, obviously, but it's typically not an issue because they're hunted. Because they are fearful of humans because we're trying to kill them most springs and falls. They tend to, if they smell you or see you or whatever, they're gone. They'll bolt. But if we were in Grizz country, it'd be a different story.
See, that's crazy because we don't have them here. So every time I think of a bear, I think of one attacking you and being the Revenant bear.
Jeff just watched that movie, so he references it like every podcast for the last week.
I love it.
It's a great movie. I saw it. Started to watch it again last night. I was thumbing through and I was like, I ought to watch it again. That's a good show. They just don't make good movies anymore. That's the problem. There's not very many good movies. I can't wait to see Oppenheimer. I want to see that because I like history and I like I like stories from the past. And they just don't make any movies like that nowadays. And that are very true to.
Well, they just made Oppenheimer.
That's
brand new.
But they used to make movies like that all the time.
Oh, okay.
They don't make very many movies like that anymore.
Oh,
I mean,
I think what happened, I think a couple things happened. One, COVID, so nobody could go to the movies. And so we had this giant explosion of streaming content. And so it was a lot more series, a lot more, kind of quick runoff movies that they needed to get out on the platforms. And then, it's really just in the last, year, basically, that they've started to create these big budget movies. And then now there's going to be a giant gap because of the writer and actor strike and all that stuff. So, can't win. But
they're going to the writers and actors are going to find out pretty quick that America has quit going to movies and they do more streaming now, anyways. The big budget movies are about a thing of the past because they've lost so much money. The last ones. I want someone to do a movie on the day the duck hunters died. The Armistice Day storm.
That would be sweet.
That would be
that would be sweet.
Great movie if they would do it the way they should do it, with a guy in an old antique airplane, because that male guy saved thousands of lives that day. It's just a hell of a story that needs to be told. And it would be
Jeff. I got a movie producer.
I've thought about writing that movie a couple of times.
Do the screenplay.
But that movie needs to be told. That is a great story. It's got historically significant and would make a great tale. And I used to say a long time ago that would be a great Disney movie, but I don't want Disney to touch it. But somebody needs to make that movie.
No.
I wish
Mel
Gibson would do it. Yeah, you'd have to have a transgender pilot with. I mean, it's just so screwed up.
FedEx pilot. You can't do U.S. Postal Service. It'd have to be FedEx or something like that.
But that would be a great story because it was just a great time in our country. And what terrible conditions! And that's just a great story, and I'd like to see someone redo it.
One of our good friends and loyal clients comes out here every year.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow. His son-in-law was the movie producer for 12 Years a Slave. He's done a bunch of
big time movies.
Yeah, he turned down the Hunger Games. Turned down the Hunger Games to do something else, and he was like, might have missed that one.
That one.
Yeah, but it's funny because listening to him tell the story, he's like, kids killing each other, and he's like, I don't really understand this, so I'm going to turn it down. And then it turned into what it was, and he was like,
is that a big show?
Yeah, the Hunger Games. Well, it was a chill. 4 of them, wasn't there?
Well, so 4 movies, 3 books.
3 books.
But I mean, the kind of craziest thing is you put out a movie about kids killing each other, and the main character shoots a bow. And so at the time, my brother owned an archery shop, and we started doing those Groupon codes where people could come in and shoot a recurve. And I bet I coached 500 lessons of people coming in to shoot for a half hour, and just wanted a picture with the recurve bow because of that movie.
Really?
So, yeah,
it's
it
crazy.
Was wild.
It's crazy how that affects the common people, or not common, just people want to try different things when a movie comes out.
For sure. It's just something, it put something in front of them that they probably would not have, thought about, like just on their own or seeing on their own or whatever. So it's like, oh, that's cool. She shoots a bow. I want to go shoot a bow. It definitely made the archery industry fire up.
I've never seen the Hunger Games, I don't think. But if I was in the movie business, I would do movies. The Hunger Games is not the movie I would use, but I would make movies that are targeted for kids from 14 to 8 years old, like Harry Potter movies. Now, Harry Potter got dark the last couple of books, and I've read all the Harry Potter books. I really like the books, and I like the movies. But I wish they would go back and do the magical ones, like the first Harry Potter, and all the magic and stuff. But that's where the kid's at. That's where your money's at. And I just have never understood why they try to get away from that. But I was thinking about that the other day, like Home Alone movies. Great movies. Tons of money made.
Yep.
Harry Potter wouldn't have been able to move forward if they would have just stayed kids in this magical environment.
Get some new kids
they had a story to tell.
Well, just do a Hogwarts movie all the time and redo Hogwarts with new kids and new things. But the young kids, it's magical.
I could be wrong, but I do believe they are remaking the Harry Potter movies.
Really?
That's smart.
And I thought I heard it might be HBO that's doing it or someone. But I could be wrong. I thought I heard that they're going to do a remake.
That's smart. It's kind of like my grandkids love Star Wars. I went to the first Star Wars movie when I was 8 years old or whatever it was. the original Star Wars, the movie. And my
back in the 70s,
yes, 76, 77 probably. My grandkids love it, and I'm like, I mean, it's crazy, but that franchise or whatever you want to call that movie has just kept going and going and going and going. Well, they've stayed true to their roots on that stuff. I mean, and it's a moneymaker for them. And the Harry Potter deals, I understand they had to make Harry get older and older and older, and they couldn't do it. But come back with some young kids.
Well, they
had
to tell his story, because at the very beginning he was touched by Voldemort, and like that had to come to an end. If he's just running around Hogwarts and everything is hunky dory, well, there's no
start a new Hogwarts with a new group of kids.
They are right here, Sam. You're right. It's going to be on Max. Not
Max.
Okay. HBO has rebranded.
Oh, it's not called HBO anymore.
Rebranded.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
Hard Knocks comes on again tonight.
Yeah, it does. Spinoff series is officially coming to Max, but it doesn't say when.
That's smart though. That's what they should do, and keep it to what it is. Don't have to have adult content in it. Make it for kids. And that's your target audience.
Well, it's going to be on Max, so you never know.
Oh, they'll probably throw in some boobs and bush, I'm sure. But
Sopranos.
I mean, it's it's the same Game of Thrones type stuff.
That was the series. I like that one.
I watched. Is it Winning Times? What is the one about the Lakers that's on there?
Yeah.
Great series, because I like sports and it brings back a lot of stuff. And I'm telling you right now, Magic Johnson laid a lot of pipe in Hollywood on that show.
Yeah, on that show he did. This Hogwarts one will be 2025, 2026. So still a little ways away. But that just, to me, I'm not discouraged about that. That just means that they're doing it right in my mind. Like if it's 2 or 3 years away, that just means taking the time and making sure it's right.
Keep it the way it's supposed to be. Like, what is it? Snow White is a black girl now?
I don't know what she is, but the dwarves are not dwarves.
Yeah. And there's no dwarves. I mean, why? Just name it something else.
Wee Man was pissed. Wee Man's like, they're taking roles away from little people. It's hard enough to get an acting job in Hollywood as a little guy. Like now they're taking that away from us.
Oh, that's too funny.
He needs another Willy Wonka to come out, and they need another Wizard of Oz to come out.
He's like, son of a bitch, what's the guy got to do to get a job in this town?
He was pissed about it. I mean, big time pissed about it.
He's like, that's my niche. I've got that. I should be prime candidate for these jobs.
It's not like I'm getting a job he's not getting a job playing the Lakers.
Right. So
no, he's got one role.
Yeah.
You
know? They took it from him.
Who played the Hobbit?
Yeah. God, what's his name? He's been in a bunch of stuff.
He was also in Bad Santa, or not Bad Santa. What's the Elf?
The black guy?
No, not the black guy.
Elf.
What's
the main character?
The white guy that's the little guy in one of the movies with
Martin Freeman.
What was he in? Was it Elf, or it's the one with James Caan and God dang it, the guy from Step Brothers. I can't think of his name right now. The streaker from Old School. Will Ferrell played a.
What? I don't think you're talking about the right guy.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. That guy's is a short guy. I don't know what you call them. Little people, whatever they're called nowadays.
Peter Dinklage?
Yes.
What's it? He was.
Oh, different guy. Totally different guy. He was in Game of Thrones.
Yes. That's who I'm thinking. I'm not Hobbit, but Peter.
Yeah.
But he's
Tyrion Lannister.
He's made a ton of money by being a small guy. His roles. He's made a lot of money. Well, a guy like that gets screwed on getting to be in the dwarfs or whatever it is. It's a bullshit deal.
He made fun of himself a lot in Game of Thrones. I like to see that. It was funny. I mean, it wasn't, it was tasteful the way he would make fun of himself.
Have you seen Brad Williams, the comedy? Have you seen him before, Sam? Oh, he's a small guy, little people. He's a comedian. He is freaking hilarious. But you know what? He's an old time comedian because he makes fun of himself. It makes fun of other people, and it's kind of like being a fat guy. I can make fun of other fat people. He can make fun of small people. He's really good. He's
nothing better than self-degradation.
That's right.
Well, it takes all the ammo away. It's just like what Eminem did. Like I'll say it, and you won't have anything.
But anyways, that guy right there is real funny too. But he got fucked out of a role.
Tough in Hollywood right now.
Can't win. Yeah. Well, they're probably not on strike, so maybe they'll get a job.
That's all about AI stuff, isn't it? Like they're just afraid of AI taking over.
I think so, because it sounded like there was some stuff where they could basically it's almost like a Black Mirror episode where they can take your likeness and then put it on, an AI character, and basically you have somebody acting that looks like you and uses your voice and whatever, but you don't have to actually act.
I saw
it's gonna be a big problem.
Commercial or I guess it was a workshop, and they were talking about AI, and the guy took an NBA basketball game. He took a guy out of the stands in a suit and put him on the game, and he was playing for the Lakers, and he was running the court and it was an AI type deal. It's coming to change, and it's gonna put a lot of people, like Andy said the other day. If you're in the editing business,
have you edited anything with AI yet?
I haven't, but I've heard that when it comes to like interviews and stuff like that, where you can have it cut like the different angles for you, I heard it's a game changer.
I use it's called Opus Clips, and I'll take any of our old episodes and just put it into that and hit click like what you want. You can customize it if you want 15 to 30 second clips, 30 to 60, 60 to 90, and then I think max is like 2 minutes, and you can click however many things you want. So I always do 30 to 60 second clips and 60 to 90 second clips. And you just click a button and come back in about 30 minutes, and you've got 10 to 15 of those 30 to 90 second clips.
What do they charge for that?
I think it's like $15 a month or something like that.
No shit.
$20 a month.
God almighty. That's going to put a lot of people out of
business. But it'll add captions. It will, and like the captions are all, perfectly timed.
I ain't bragging about you in town no more about how hard you're working.
Which I use.
Yeah, what is?
Yeah, you can. So here's what's funny. You can tell the clips that I do because I always put our music and like a little end screen at the end. So if you ever see those are ones that I personally put time in and edited. But like if you see it and it just ends, that is AI doing it.
That's AI,
and it'll take out all the pot. Like it's perfect. Like pretty close to perfect for $15 a month, and me not having to jack with it and having basically 10 to 15 clips. I'll take it.
That's crazy though, because that is going to do to everybody that's in the editing that business the same thing that it's done with printers. Prints, newspaper, magazine. I was at the grocery store the other day and I wanted a Dave Campbell's football magazine for Andy's grandpa. And I walked through there. The magazine at a grocery store, a big, nice market type grocery store, was not 8 foot long. It used to be half of a length of a deal with just different magazines. Yep. There's no magazines no more. AI is going to put people out to work just like the printing business. There's no printers hardly anymore.
Now I will flip it on its head for you, and it'll probably allow editors, because a lot of that stuff that it's doing, especially right now, is just the little piddly BS work that editors have to do. So it's stuff that's like you don't really have to be talented to cut that stuff down. Right. Like it's doing the work that is just like the time sucker. So I think for a lot of guys, it's going to be a way to bring on more work. Yeah. Be like, oh, well, I used to edit, 6 podcast videos for different podcasts or whatever. Well, now I can take on 50, right? And I can increase my revenue and do a better job, or at least the same job that I was doing. Where and if people are farming that stuff out, they're not going to go learn that for themselves, and they don't really care who's doing it. They just want the end product. So I feel like it might put some people out of work if you're not figuring out how to use it to your advantage. But man, I think for people who are in that space that are just like having to deal with hours and hours and hours of like scrubbing through stuff and whatever, and just looking at that, like they're going to be able to bring on a lot more clients for the same amount of time.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm doing is I'm using it as a way to put out more content. I'm still doing what I normally would do, but it's just like I've got 30 clips that are in the bag that are ready to go if I ever want to drop them. But yeah, no, you're right. Like guys that can get in on the ground floor and figure out how to leverage AI and keep up with their work that they're doing. You're right. They could they could double their client list.
Right.
I didn't think of it that way. I thought of it because you're right, guys. If they're already farming that out, they don't want to learn how to do AI.
No, they're not going to go out there and be like, oh, I can just do this. They don't want to do that work. They want to have the podcast. They want to do the interviews. That's their jam. That's their niche. And then they let somebody else take care of the rest.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Son of a bitch. How do you feel about all that? I mean, because I don't know. It's kind of a weird world with like Photoshop already, but I don't know about AI with photos and stuff because that's not my jam. That's not my niche. So, but I mean, is there anything out there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Adobe just put out generative fill.
Oh.
And so you can, let's say you take a photo of a cool duck scene or whatever, some duck hunting scene. Well, let's say you need a little more room on the bottom half. You have a cattail slough in front of you or whatever. And so now you can just expand the canvas size, and then you can select the part that's blank and say, like basically just auto generate or like fill in with like be like add more cattail slough with, floating whatever, like, puffs of the cattails floating by or whatever.
Right.
And it'll just spit it out just like that.
Oh.
And it gives you different options and stuff. Like you can take a very mundane photo and turn it into some pretty wild stuff, like in a hurry. And then the biggest thing is removing things. Like I had a picture of me, and like I took up like me in the frame took up like a third of the photo, and I just kind of loosely selected myself, and I just hit remove, and it was like I was never there.
No way.
Perfect autofill behind me of like fall leaves and just like, yeah, it was like, all right, well, again, like it's stuff that I want to learn to use to my advantage for the time being. There will come, I'd say for like the next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be a time where the client, again, is not going to go learn how to use AI. And so people like me who already know how to edit are starting to use that and tweak things in the way that it needs to be, especially for like, hey, we need a cover photo. We need more space around this. Like do you have any photos with more space for text? That kind of thing. You're like, oh yeah, for sure. So I can just auto select, add more sky, add more ground, foreground or whatever, and make it so like the editor for the magazine or whatever can add, text around the subject or whatever. So there's, I try not to be afraid of any of that. I just try to like, how do I use it to my advantage instead of being like, well, I'm out of a job.
I'm done. Stick a fork in me. It was a good run.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, how does that work? Like with your creative mind, like the people that are hung up on the shot being the shot and it being good enough the way that it is, like, is that just, or do you not have, when you get off into the professional side of things and doing what you do and with publications and stuff like that, have you already kind of removed that way of thinking from your brain?
There's two things. Like there's shots that I take for myself, right. There's shots that, and most of the time I'm still going to just like deliver photos of how it looked in my eye when I shot the photo, but there's, it's all commercialized when you get into like product photography and different stuff like that. And so you just need to make it work. You need to make it, you need to make the deliverable work for the client's need. And obviously a lot of times you can do that without touching anything, but like maybe the lighting was off just a little bit, or, you needed to move the object just a hair over or whatever, like just some of that like little stuff, like it doesn't bother me at all. Like, like I'd say at this point in time, between everything that everyone's seen on social media, magazines, news, or whatever, that most of it's curated and fake to some extent. Now, again, like there's a lot of photos that I just shoot just for me, and I may even deliver it to the client, but it's stuff that's like, this is exactly how it looked when I shot it. And like, that's not changing.
So that photo does exist. There are times where like lighting was perfect. Like everything about this picture is as it should be.
Yep. Absolutely. And I mean, I'm not good enough at Photoshop to like really go outside of that realm. Like guys like Lee Chose and people who are in that world who have been doing it forever, they're artists. Like they are digital artists. So that, they're taking, a lot of guys are taking, a bunch of photos and kind of stitching them together into this surreal image that tells a way bigger story and tells a brand, like you can have a whole brand anthem in a single photo if done right. If you know how to like add the elements that you need to, but most of the time that single photo doesn't exist to that level. There are very cool experiences, very cool shots that you can take, but man, a lot of the time, like, that sky wasn't quite like that. Those ducks weren't quite right there. Like, but I'm not good enough at Photoshop yet to deal with that.
I'm not either. I've jacked with it a little bit and I know just enough to kind of make it look really, really fake. I mean, that's kind of,
you and me both. Yeah.
Like, oh, that looks like shit. You can definitely
every once in
tell
a while I can strip in the sky,
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, even like that Joe Rogan photograph that you took with the hunk of meat and everything, like how much did you do any work to that, or did when you send it over to the publication, do they do anything to it, or do you send over the final product? That was it.
That was it. So like I tweaked some like light levels and stuff on it. I think I probably pulled up the shadows a little bit, maybe increased the contrast or the clarity. But that was the photo. Like it wasn't a different sky. It wasn't a different foreground. There was no touch up anything. That was just out of the camera and they put text over it.
That was it. So that's got to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it when it comes together like that. Way less work for me.
Hell yeah. How much time do you devote to a picture? Like editing it?
It depends. And I know that's a dumb answer, but honestly, a lot of the time it comes down to how I'm feeling in the moment. Right. So there's, or if there's a project that I'm particularly excited about, if I go out and rip out, if I do a photo shoot for whatever, 3 to 5 days or whatever, and I've got, 8,000 pictures that I need to go through. There's a lot of them are going to get small tweaks, and it's like, okay, that's going to work for this. That's going to work for this. And then I'll get to a photo. I'm like, okay, like there'll be like 10 or 15 of like that whole lot that I'm like, okay, these are the ones that like need like to be used like more than just like this will fill in the gap. And so I'll spend, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, half hour on a photo, just like kind of readjusting lighting and different stuff and testing it and see just how to, especially just to make the subject pop. Mm-hmm. And so you have like, okay, it's drawing the viewer's eyes directly to what I want it to be seeing. But yeah, typically I don't spend a ton of time on editing photos.
I would be a nutcase if I had to edit photographs, because like there's times now where I'll tweak 3 different things and I'm like, well, what the fuck made it look like this? And then like you're going back and then it's just like I monkey with too many different things. And then I'm like, well, I want to take something out, but I don't know what it is. So most of the time I just got to start at 0 and try to backtrack on what I did. I'd be a nutcase if I had to do that.
Yep.
You only want to change like one thing at a time, maybe.
I probably just don't know enough, again, like I don't know enough of the being able to change things digitally to like damage the photo too much.
Right.
I know that early in my career, I like to like really crush the blacks a lot, like that was like the kind of the look. And so I go back and look at stuff that I have edited or stuff that was printed or whatever, like back in the day. And I'm like, ooh, that is a rough edit on that one.
Do you like looking at old stuff?
I do. I like reminiscing and seeing, because there's a lot of times like where like I'll get through a season and I'm like, God, I just don't feel like I shot enough this season. I don't feel like I did enough. And then I'll like go back through my whole album, like of edited shots that I had from the fall, and it'll be like, whatever, a couple thousand images or whatever. I'm like, okay, I shot more than I remembered shooting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun to go back.
Yeah. When you're in the moment, you don't realize like how much you're actually doing. And then you get to the end and like, I think it's one thing. It's like you survived and you're just like, well, I didn't do enough. I shouldn't be here. There's no reason that I should still be alive in this moment. So I obviously didn't do enough.
Yep. 100%.
That's the way I feel. It's like, did I do anything this year? Like, why am I here? It's fucking, cause it's a gauntlet, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
And then for me, it's like, client calls like, hey, yep, we want to just renew, the contract for this year and get, do photos again. I'm like, God, did I do enough? Right. I have, a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, I think I don't know. I'm out there shooting stuff, but I probably need to, ramp this up a little bit.
You still have imposter syndrome?
Oh, really? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely
everyone's
do.
not. Yeah. Every once in a while. I think you have to, I think it keeps you grounded. I try to like dig to the root of what that is. And typically I just, it turns into me like trying to work harder to like earn what I've, been getting.
Right. Yeah. I have it all the time. And like, whenever we go to hunting shows and stuff, it's like, I'm the wrong person you should be talking to right now. Cause people, people come up and they're friendly and, we have shared so much of our personal lives and our deep, dark thoughts out there that, a lot of people, it just goes into their ears or over their speakers and like they feel like they know you. And I'm like, I'm flattered, but I'm not the person that you should be talking to right now. So I have a lot of imposter syndrome, actually.
What do you call this?
Imposter syndrome. You don't feel like you belong in the space that you're in.
So where do you think you should be at?
Fuck, I don't know. Remodeling bathrooms again or something. I don't know. It's something like, it's this weird thing because you start out doing something and you have a vision in mind of where it's going to go, and then it goes that way, And then you're like,
how did I end up
this
here?
Is stupid.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like this. I should still be remodeling bathrooms and, getting everything around here ready to go.
Yep.
I shouldn't be hanging out with the boss guys at a hunting show, or, Sam Soholt shouldn't know my name. There's no way.
Shouldn't be texting you out of the blue like, hey, I've got a dumb idea I want to talk about on the podcast.
This is not real life. Jeff obviously does not have this because Jeff.
I'm really confused by this.
Why?
Jeff knows exactly where he should be.
Yeah, Jeff is like, I should be on this microphone right now, and
I'm not saying that. Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. Everybody's got a dream. You should chase your dream, and if you're living your dream, then by gosh, that's where you're supposed to be at. I think.
Yeah, but it's still,
it's weird.
Don't feel like it should.
Every once in a while, that doubt still creeps in there.
Oh yeah,
I'm
filled with it.
Yeah. I'm very blessed, and I know that, and I look at it that way. I do get embarrassed over some things. Autographs and stuff really bother me. It doesn't bother me. I should be flattered by it, but it's weird because I'm not that guy. I shouldn't be that guy. So I guess that would be that imposter deal you say.
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
But I don't have it very often because I want the room to part when I walk in. I want them fuckers to just spread apart.
Jeff is exactly where he should be.
Man, I like it.
Jeff is exactly where he should be.
Where's the red carpet?
He is that guy.
Yeah, I like it.
Commercial here, but at least by God, throw a red carpet out. No, I don't. I don't know. I think that you should be proud of who you are and where you're at, and you've worked hard to get there. Both of you have, so you should both be proud of that. And you should be honored that people want to be you or want to be like you, I guess I should say.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like to think of it as like Sam said, like it's a little bit of self-awareness. It's a little bit of let's dig a little bit deeper and
if you
not let it go to waste maybe.
If you don't want to feel important, go to the grocery store in Knox City because there ain't a son of a bitch in there that thinks you're important. I promise you.
No, that's exactly right. But use it to your advantage. Dig a little bit deeper and leave no doubt.
Yeah, I think it's just a way to stay grounded for me. Keeps the fire burning. I never feel like I got to keep earning where I am.
Yeah. Remind people why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So what is going on now we got Stamp It Forward coming pretty soon. And another way of moving this thing forward, you've got a 100-mile hike.
Yeah, so I came up with a real dumb idea, but I think it's going to be a good time. So I'm calling it the 100-mile prairie pothole duck ruck. And I had this idea, so it came from reading a book called The Comfort Crisis.
I'm in the middle of that
by Michael
I'm in the middle
Easter.
Of that right now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you know how he talks about the misogis?
Yes.
Like the really hard challenges. Yep. So I'd come up with the idea. I was going to do it with a couple of buddies. There's a trail in Western North Dakota called the Mattahay Trail, and it's a bike trail now, but you can hike it or whatever. It's over 100 miles now, but we were going to do 100 miles of it in 3 days, and we just could not get schedules together, and so it's just kind of like that kept just like rolling over in my brain. I wanted to do this 100-mile hike. And I was like, what if I turn this misogi, this something that I have a pretty good chance of failing at. What if I turned it into a way to actually earn people's money for Stamp It Forward? So the past 4 years, we've asked people to just send us funds. We go buy duck stamps. It's been as simple as that. And that's been great. The response has been unbelievable. I mean, last year we raised $50,000 for duck stamps. So 98% of that goes to the ground. So this year wanted to be more ambitious with it. And so planning a 100, it's going to be next month. So we're just shy of a month away from me hiking 100 miles, but starting at the Sand Lake National Wildlife Refuge in South Dakota, because duck stamps pay for the National Wildlife Refuges. And so I wanted to talk about that. And I'm going to hike north into North Dakota. So over 3 days, I will walk 100 miles through the prairie pothole region. And the goal is going to be to raise $100,000 for duck stamps. So yeah. So we're going big. So the way I'm trying to, how do you eat an elephant, right? You eat one bite at a time. So to break this 100K down, I keep talking about, I want more people in the hunting space to be involved. I want more people to get behind this. And so I'll really lower the barrier to entry. So if I can get 10,000 people to donate 10 cents a mile, that's $100,000. Now, obviously, if I can get a few people to donate more than that, and on my web guy just sent me a screenshot this morning of the donation page that he's building. And so there will be different options. So you can donate $10 or 10 cents a mile, $25, which is 25 cents a mile, all the way up to $25 a mile. So $2,500. But the goal is going to be to earn $1,000 a mile. So we'll probably launch it live. Let's see, it's the 15th today. I think it'll all go live on the website probably a week from yesterday. So whatever that is, the 20th, 21st,
yeah,
21st, I think.
So,
yeah,
is this? Are you on Indian reservations or private land? Any of this is the trail all public?
No, it's not a trail. So I'll just be walking dirt roads and 2 tracks and stuff just through the region. So I'll be kind of out there in the middle of damn nowhere, walking through the prairie.
Is the I lost track of my question here. Are you going to give these stamps to people that are going to hunt, or this is going to be for new hunters?
Yep. Yeah. So here's how it works. So 100K would buy 4,000 stamps. And so what we've done in the past, and we're going to do it again this year, is that a big chunk of those we will give away through our website. So what we do is we buy a bunch of stamps, and then every item we sell at publiclandtees.com, we give away a duck stamp. But this year I'm working to get Delta Waterfowl, Ducks Unlimited involved as a way to add an additional fundraiser. So I want to give both of those organizations a bunch of stamps to give away with new memberships, so we can raise another, $35,000 or something like that. And then I want to give a whole pile of stamps to, and we've done this the past 3 years now, but I want to give a whole pile of stamps to veteran, youth, and new hunter organizations. And so, whether we give away 500 to 1,000 of those to those organizations so they can take new people out. And then, the remainder will just go through the website like usual. But overall, we should be able to kind of turn it into, if we're $100,000 raised, will really be like $150,000 raised through the course of the whole thing.
We have got to get minority hunters. That's what's going to save our sport. Yeah. We have to get minority hunters. There's tons of minority fishermen. I mean, you go any place and you see a lot of black guys fishing. You don't see very many black guys hunting. We need the black guys to hunt. We've got to find a way to get in and get the black guys to hunt.
Well, I mean,
I don't care who you are. We just need more.
We need more hunters. But we really we've got to figure a way to get minorities involved in hunting. We have to.
Part of the problem is a lot of those. If you're a fisherman, you probably grew up fishing.
Yes.
Right. So
and it's inexpensive.
Well, it's not only that. It's just that's what a lot of these people that are only fishermen grew up doing. It was fishing. They didn't grow up hunting. And so it's like, if you don't get that ground level built into them at an early age, they're not going to do it as adults.
There was a statistic someone told us the other day about bass fishing, and it was crazy. Like 95% of all duck hunters fish, but only like 10% of bass fishermen
whatever it is,
hunt.
It's flipped. Yeah, whatever the percentage is, it's flipped. 90% of hunters fish, but only like 10%. 90%, 10% of fishermen hunt.
And it was a crazy statistic.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
It was a crazy statistic, and I was like, "Wow, that's that." But we've got to figure a way out to get minorities into hunting more. And not trying that. If that sounds racist, I'm sorry. I'm not being racist, but that is the honest to God truth. That is a demographic that we need to get involved in the outdoors.
Well, women make up 51%. Well, if you look at, go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, if you look at how basically the makeup of our country is changing, the makeup of Americans, we just need to have a better representation across the board, of what the country looks like. Right. So, as our country grows and changes, we just need to have an equal percentage of every, basically denomination, race, anywhere you came from, to continue kind of like getting people into that path of living off the landscape, hunting, fishing, doing all those things that, basically keep you connected to wild places.
We need to diversify the hunters. My lodge is a perfect example. 30 years ago, 99% of the people walking through my door were white guys. Not white people, white guys. There wasn't very many women that hunted. Nowadays, we have a woman here all the time. We have people of color, of all sorts of colors, from all backgrounds. I mean, we have everybody, but we need more of that. Like you said, our country, that's what our country is made up of. We need more of that. But if we could get more of the inner city people interested in the outdoors, it would make our life a lot easier and keep a lot of those things coming. Because if we don't do some things like get new hunters involved, our hunting people are getting older and older and older, and we're going to lose more and more of our rights because the young people, it's not going to be important to them to save some property to hunt. I guess California, I don't know what's going on out there. I talked to a guy messaged me yesterday, and I'm trying to get him on the podcast. I guess Tule Lake or one of them lakes up there is completely dry again. Yeah. And they've drained it again. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the whole story, but if we had a bunch of young people out there that were involved, then maybe we could save some of these things.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that just thinking about the fishing hunting thing, do you think the percentage is so flipped because you can go fishing for like 15 minutes? Like you can get out of your truck, pop down to a little fishing hole and fish for 15 minutes, like on your lunch break, or, right on your way home from work or on your way to work. You can you can do it for such a small amount of time and still have success. Whereas when it comes to hunting, it's a much more involved, obviously you can get as involved as you want in fishing, but like on a base level, hunting is much more involved when it comes to the pursuit of an animal rather than just popping into a little
I think
hole.
It's economics is a big part because hunting is expensive. Duck hunting, fishing is very cheap. Also, the access to places to fish are easy. 90% of, or something, I say 90 all the time, but our big portion of our country lives within 15 miles of the ocean. And it's a big portion of the population. And I would say probably 60 to 70% of all of our population lives within 15 miles of the ocean. Well, that gives people places to fish, public places to fish. You can go to any town in America and they've got a city park that's got a pond that most places they'll let you fish at. Well, you bust out some duck decoys and start calling them mallards and start shooting at them. They're going to frown on that shit a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest difference. It's just that, again, the barrier to entry, it's just, it's just way higher than getting into fishing.
And duck hunting is like golf. It'll grab your ass, and next thing you know, you're broke because you got to buy this, and then this year you buy this, and you buy something else, and you're hiding decoys from your wife or a new gun. It's an expensive hobby. Well, you can go buy a Zebco 303 for $30 at Walmart and buy a hook and a cork and some worms, and for $50, and you've got $100 tied up times your license and everything. Well, then every time you go fishing, it's not that expensive.
But you can cheat. Right. You can buy used decoys on Facebook Marketplace. You can buy a 870. You can
do it for cheaper than you can a lot of things. There's no.
It's not going to be for $100, but no. It's not a $1,500 shotgun. It's not $500 on decoys. It's not $1,500 on waders. I mean, there are cheaper alternatives.
Yes, I would agree. But fishing is so much cheaper than hunting is, and it's so much more easily accessible. Like a father and his two kids. Let's say you got two, like you, Andy, and you want to take the boys fishing, and we got a little lake outside of town you want to go to. It don't cost nothing to take them fishing hardly at all. But if you have to go line them up with shotguns and have to go find a place to duck hunt, or you hunt the public place, time you buy a boat or something, you've spent a lot more money. It's hard to duck hunt off of the bank everywhere you go to. It's not as easy to get to.
Right.
And the problem is, for big cities, there's nowhere to go. We're talking about our populations in the big cities areas. If you live in New York City, it's easy to find a place to fish. It's hard to find a place to go hunting.
Yep. Yeah, again, I think it's just access, man. It's just it all comes down to, like we all got into hunting because someone got us into hunting. And it's harder to do if you didn't have that person in your life. And it's happening more often now. I mean, you have a lot more adult onset hunters. And I think that will continue to shift as long as we, there's starting to be, there was just Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever just posted about basically community access funding. And it's a way to basically increase the amount of private land that's open for public hunting by sweetening the pot and encouraging landowners to put their land into CRP, walk-in, plots programs, block management, that type of land. And so I think the next frontier to kind of like lower that hurdle and allow more space for all of us to spread out and be able to get more people into this is going to be opening up more private land to public access. Because overcrowding is a real issue. You have horror stories of people fighting on public land stuff. And so I think if we can get enough people involved so we can raise the funds to start opening up more of that private land, I think we'll see the massive benefits, maybe not immediately, but like down the road. I think there will be a lot more revenue coming in to fund habitat, fund more access, fund, getting new people into hunting, all of those different things. But it's going to take, the collective group to push that forward.
Well, and like, let's be honest too. Like if we didn't have, if we always went out when we were early hunters and got our asses kicked and never saw any success, well, like we probably wouldn't do this. So it's like you said, it's not just having public land to go do this, but it's having a place to go do it and have a little bit of success. Success can be whatever you want it to be, but going out there,
and quality experience,
going out there at 4:30 in the morning and then, getting your ass kicked and you're frozen to death. Well, that's not going to it's not going to get many new hunters.
No. And my older brother has made a really good point several times. He just said, like, there's so many forms of recreation that are so much easier. Like, and a lot of them sit in the palm of your hand. So there's a lot of things that you can do that are really fun where you don't have to go out and freeze your ass off and, muddle around in the mud and the water and whatever, and then, go home empty handed. So it's just the way things progress every once in a while. But I think all of our goals is just to keep people connected.
Yeah. I have not thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot more forms of cheaper entertainment that aren't as taxing on the body, and you don't even have to leave your sofa. Whereas a long time ago, 70 years ago, you went hunting and fishing because it was just something to do.
That's a great point. That's when I was a kid on the weekends growing up, I wanted to go fishing or go hunting.
Why? And the answer was why?
Yeah. I mean, what am I going to do? Sit in here and play with my Legos that was
exactly.
it. You could play Legos all night long.
Right.
I mean, we played board games. I had electric train and we had Legos and racetrack.
Right.
Well, shit, you don't want to do that all damn day long. You want to go do something.
Right. At least you're going to see something new at the fishing hole.
There was nothing to watch on TV growing up as a kid. I'm telling you right now. You go back and watch Freaks and Geeks. That was my time of growing up.
Yeah.
There wasn't shit on TV, especially after 8 o'clock at night. It was it. You had like a 2-hour window.
And think about that now. Now, in this, you have every piece of information that the earth holds.
Yes.
in the palm of your hand, and every streaming service and every piece of content that exists. So you can watch a lot of people do the thing that you probably would have done yourself.
Yeah.
Me and my wife last night
40 years ago
sitting there watching TV, and we was looking for something to watch. We have 14,648 different channels to come through and couldn't find shit to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I ended up watching a movie made in the 70s just because I was like, oh, it's a war movie. I'll watch this shit.
I haven't seen this one for a while.
but you do that shit. I mean, because we're so spoiled and want to have something exactly that we want to watch. And it's just we're too confined to that TV and too addicted to it, or the phone.
Yeah, and I'm way addicted to my phone. I have found, and this is not me trying to say I'm better than anybody, because I am glued to my phone because of what I have to do, posting, whatever, gathering content, all that crap. But when I have started to go to a concert, or I go to dinner, or I go to whatever, I purposely leave my phone behind, because I was like, I just know, like, I'm going to want to grab it. I'm going to want to look at something. I'm going to want to scroll through whatever, or check, if somebody texts or whatever. And like, since I've started doing that, it's like I really actually get to enjoy things again. Like, because there's no option. There's no escape of the moment that you're having at that time.
There's a great photo. It's of Phil Knight, and he's sitting front row. I don't know what game it is, but LeBron is obviously about to make a big shot.
I think he's fixing to set the new scoring record.
And Phil Knight,
and everybody.
And Phil Knight is the only guy. He's sitting front row. He's got his legs crossed and is just watching LeBron sink this. And everybody else is like looking up at their phones. And nobody gives a shit, because ESPN's got a better camera angle of it than you do from your shitty phone.
That's right. Always.
I don't want to say they were there.
But it's like, be a Phil Knight in the world of, and it's insane. It is every single person other than Phil Knight.
There was another example of that. What golf tournament was it? There was a guy just like standing there with a beer. Was it Tiger or somebody, whoever, like at the last shot of whatever, the Masters or whatever. and he's just like chilling there with a beer, and everybody else had their phone out. And like they made a can with his face on it, whatever, and sent it to him.
We went to eat dinner at Andy and them's the other night, and I left my phone at the house. And
Michelle asked, naked?
Huh?
Did you feel naked?
No, Michelle goes, "Where's your phone?" I said, "Left the house." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." It's like I didn't need it. We were going to go at your house. It was 3 blocks away. If something bad happens, y'all all got phones.
Right.
I just left the phone at the house.
That's right.
Because I need to get better about doing that. I wish my phone I had a timer, but where I couldn't watch it, for 8 hours a day, you cannot lose your phone. And I've gotten at nighttime now where I take my phone and I stick it on the other side of the nightstand where I don't wake up at 1:30 in the morning and grab my phone. Like, who the fuck is going to text or call you at 1 o'clock in the morning? You need to get a text from.
My wife did that the other day, the other night. She's like, I can't sleep. She's looking on her phone. I'm like, the blue light, it has been proven that the blue light from the cell phone stimulates daylight in your mind and you're awake. It's like, turn your phone off. What are you doing?
You're up.
Seriously?
Yeah.
The blue light does that, or you call it the blue light.
Oh, yeah.
That's right? Am I right, Sam?
Oh, I believe you. I just never heard that.
100%.
But if I ever pick my phone up at nighttime, I catch myself 30 minutes later. I'm still looking at my phone. I can be dog-ass tired at 1:30 in the morning. But after 10 o'clock at night, there's nothing nobody texts you at 10 o'clock at night that expects you to text them till the next morning.
I'd even go earlier than that. I'd say anything after 8 p.m. It's like
I get guys that text me a lot of times at weird hours about hunts and stuff, but usually, but they don't. If you don't text them back until the next morning, that's acceptable.
But you don't need to look at that because then you get to a position where the guy's like, "Hey, are you going to send me that invoice I emailed you about at 11?" And you responded to, because once you respond,
you've opened up that dialogue,
right? But if you just don't even look at it until the next day, your notifications are right there.
But we all do that shit. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, we're all guilty. 100%.
Yes, I for the longest time I stayed out of the comments on YouTube. I would post and ghost. I'd put it up and I would never look at it. Since we have started releasing our new series,
you reply to everyone.
It's a terrible. So now I'm constantly looking at what's going on YouTube. So it's just I've replaced like Instagram and TikTok with the fucking YouTube app, and I'm not happy.
So are you going to stop replying to everyone?
I am not happy about that.
Are you going to stop replying to everyone?
I don't know.
I never thought I'd say this but maybe learn something from Skip Bayless.
What?
He posts shit on Twitter that's stupid all the time, but he never answers nobody. He doesn't get into any kind of dialogue with them, and it's smart.
But I want people to know that I appreciate you watching. Thank you for enjoying this.
I understand that.
It creates a personal relationship, and then they come back. So,
but do people really expect that?
What were we saying, Sam?
You should just always be the first comment on your own video and just say, just know, like I do not have time to go through all the comments. Just know I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
like this.
I know.
And then pin it at the top, and then
nobody expects you to reply to them anyways. They don't. Nobody.
And then think about the dopamine hit that they get whenever they see bing, they replied. They're like, fuck yes.
I know.
What a good guy. He got back to me.
The one video's got 18 comments this morning since we've been on here, and you haven't replied to one. So it looks like you got 18 different people to reply to.
That's because I haven't looked at my phone. That is the one good thing about podcasts is I turn my phone upside down. It's on. It's this way right now because
it's on Do Not Disturb.
And it's just I can focus singularly for however long it takes, and that is great.
Yep.
Jeff, on the other hand, which I'll give Jeff a pass because we're 2 weeks from dove season, so. He can't always just.
There's some things
he can't
going
just
on.
Always turn off his phone for an hour or 2 hours at a time. So,
but
between now and when hunting season ends,
right?
I've got I got people working outside doing things, so I don't get that message. Hey, listen.
Yep.
And then Tony goes, "What do you and Andy want for lunch?" That's important.
I got a meeting. I can't have lunch.
Well,
I'm fasting.
We're not all school board members.
I'm fasting.
Tony's fasting also.
Yeah, he hadn't had breakfast yet, so
he goes between meals.
Between meals, he fasts.
He diets about 4 hours a day.
Not even. I bet he's a snacker. What have you been doing to prepare for this 100-mile hike that you got coming up?
Yeah, so I have been doing a lot of training hikes, typically 4 to 7 miles, but I carry 40 pounds on my back just to get my feet ready, basically strengthen up everything. Yeah. So, and I don't plan on carrying much weight at all while I'm doing the hike. So my brother's going to fly out and leapfrog me in the bus and probably try to find a buddy or two that wants to hang out and shoot photos and help make small short form content, which I've got a bunch of dumb ideas for that too. And then every 4 miles, so 25 times throughout the 3 days, I'll go live, and I've got a bunch of all my partners have thrown in gear and swag and stuff that so we'll have 25 prizes to give away throughout the hike, and just a way to like kind of keep people checking in, and there'll be a progress bar on like the donations and everything on the website. So
that's a great idea.
With any luck, we can rip through that.
Great idea. You know what's going to happen too? You're going to be in the middle of BFE in North Dakota, and some old farmer's going to come up and go, "What are you doing, boy?"
You're going to tell him
he's going to be like, "Okay,
I'm doing this for fun."
He's going to drive home and say, "Edna, you ain't going to believe this shit. I saw some old boy walking. They're just going for a walk out in the middle of the woods, raising money for them damn ducks."
And I'm gonna build the route on X Maps, and then that'll live on the webpage as well, so people can see like what my route is. And so if anybody listening like is in the Dakotas or whatever and wants to come out and walk for a mile or two and help kind of generate buzz around it and hang out and shoot the breeze for a minute while I'm out there sweating in the middle of the scorching prairie, feel free to come hang out. And then the hike will be the 13th, 14th, 15th of September. And then on the 16th, we're doing a kind of a celebration pint night in Fargo at Fargo Brewing Company.
Nice.
13th, 14th, and 15th. At least by then, it should be cooling down some.
You'd hope.
It should be. Yeah, that's the hope. And then my goal, I'm going to I'll start pretty dang early in the mornings on the hike just so I can, get 9-10 miles down the road before it really gets hot if it is heating up again.
So do you have this broken down yet in your mind? Like, are you going to try to do 33.3 miles a day and take it all?
Yep. I want to, my goal is to do it equal amounts. I don't want to it's going to be hard enough as it is. I don't want to overexert myself on day one and try to do 50 miles and then have my feet fall off and then, fail. So I'm really trying to break it down as much as I can. And then, it should be, it's going to be long and boring and awesome all at the same time, and I'll probably get to see a lot of cool stuff, and basically hiking from that Sand Lake area, north up to Jamestown was the kind of where I'll end. That's 94 miles if you drive it. So it'll be about, I'll plan a route that's 100. I'm going to get to go past a lot of cool, kind of that prairie pothole stuff. Just lots of water, lots of ducks, lots of geese, lots of everything.
What are you gonna have headphones in, or are you going like David Goggins and no suffer?
I probably won't David Goggins it the whole time. But I did have an idea. I was I want to do a short form reel. It's post a piece of content that doesn't need a caption. And I was just going to run by carrying a duck boat. There's, who's going to carry the boats? But
who's going to carry the boat, motherfucker?
Yeah. But, I don't know. We'll see kind of my pace. I'm probably going to need a little bit of music and whatever to keep me going through some of it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last week with one of the guys we had in here. Whenever you find that right jam or that right set of songs, you're golden. You can just ride that high and it'll carry you however far you need it to.
Yep.
But you're right though. The feet is what you have to worry about because they're not used. Yep. They're a delicate little piece of equipment and they're not used to putting in that amount of work.
No. So, fortunately, I do a lot of hiking anyway, just to stay in shape for hunting season. But yeah, over the next few weeks, there's going to have to be at least a few days where I go do a 10 to 15 mile hike just to make sure my body understands that I'm just going to keep going. So yeah.
Did you know there's a group of people out there that do these hikes and walks barefoot?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just cannot imagine that shit. They do it. The first one I ever noticed is a guy named Cody Lundgren. That's he used to be on Not Naked and Afraid. It was Survival something or another. It was just two guys.
I think I know who you're talking about. He was the hippie guy, teamed up with kind of the more tactical, military guy.
Yeah, he was the one that drove the other guy nuts because even they did a blizzard in North Dakota or something. He was barefoot.
Oh, this guy. Yeah. He's got the long braids.
Yes.
And then wears a bandana. I remember him.
He went to school at Arizona and he lived in the woods and the cactus and stuff would come in. He was a stinking son bitch in class. But But there's a group of guys out there that are barefoot people that hike and do all this stuff. They do Appalachian trails barefoot. I can tell you right now, Andy ain't doing that shit because his feet are so tender because he don't ever go somewhere without shoes or
I can't
socks.
walk across the lawn. I can't go check my mail across the grass without putting on shoes.
I do know that the more you can train your feet to basically be like leather. So like the more you do it, like the tougher they get. And as long as they don't dry out and crack, you basically create like a leather callus on the bottom of your foot that's more or less impenetrable to like light cactus and that kind of stuff.
I can't imagine that shit. And I'm a barefoot guy. I walk around barefoot all the time, but my yard has no stickers. Michelle has it wonderful and green and soft all the time. So I don't ever wear shoes a lot in the summertime.
I saw a video of a guy, it was a tribe, and I think it might have been from the Rogan podcast, but like they were barefoot their entire lives, and basically their feet will like kind of transform into hands more or less. Like their toes will spread all out.
Yep. It's how we're supposed to be, actually. You know, like footwear isn't that old. Yeah. You know, so it used to be bare feet or maybe like some deer hide like on the bottom.
Moccasins.
You know, and that was and that was it. But yeah, like your toes spread way out, so you have way better balance, and then way more power. But I think you're right. I think there was a whole book called Born to Run, and they talk a lot about that tribe because like their challenges of the tribe where they would do these like ridiculously long runs and run everywhere, and then some guy like basically brought them in to do all these long races, and they were like making sandals out of like old tires and stuff. It's just because shoes didn't fit their feet, and it was crazy.
Like the Comanches, they didn't have fucking shoes.
You don't think so?
No, they had some moccasins.
I mean, yeah,
they
had footwear,
just some shoes. Leather. They had leather on though that wasn't going to keep you from getting a stone bruise, but running on a rock, but it would keep a sticker out of it.
Yeah.
But I wondered if they put salve or something on their feet to help. I would like to know if the Indians treated their feet at all.
Well, like a eucalyptus type something,
or buffalo fat or something on them to keep them, like you said.
Yeah, probably some sort of lotion,
some sort of paste that they made.
I would also like to know how they dealt with the mosquitoes and the flies.
Oof. I don't know. I'm sure there was some remedy, something you spread on yourself so they don't mess.
I saw a movie one time, and it was a movie, but a lot of times movies you do learn a lot of historical facts. I don't know how true it was, but some people were in the gulags. What was that prison? The Russian prison. They were in the prison there up in Siberia, and they escaped. And they didn't even have guards because it was such a terrible place. If you escaped, you were going to die of the elements. And they walked from Siberia all the way across into China. But they come out of the mountains somewhere, and the mosquitoes were terrible. And these people were it was just eating them up. And there were some locals there, and they noticed a farmer was walking in the mosquitoes. They were trying to hide from him. The guy couldn't handle it no more, and he went up and mosquitoes. And the guy took like a deal of garlic that they wore this necklace and stuff, and it kept all the mosquitoes off of them. I don't know what it was, but I'm assuming there was some historical, based on something historical, that it worked. Because I've always wondered how the Indians survived with all the insects.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like for every synthetic remedy that we have ever come up with, there was a natural remedy out there that did the same thing or was meant for the same thing.
Kind of like the alligator. If they can ever figure out the antibodies in an alligator to fight off infections, because there's an animal there that lives in the nastiest, hot, murky, muddy water where bacteria thrive, and they get in fights and cuts, but they never get an infection.
And they live forever.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally dinosaurs. This says the natives hung sweetgrass in their dwellings and wore it in their clothing. I don't know what sweetgrass is, but evidently it was a natural.
Because you live up north. Y'all have tons of flies and mosquitoes, correct?
Yes.
See, we have mosquitoes here, but when it's dry like it is now, mosquitoes aren't that bad.
Yeah. We got the best of both worlds right now. It was dry for a long time, so the flies are really bad. And then it just rained like 10 inches over the last 2 weeks, and now the mosquitoes are horrible. So we've got getting hit from both ends.
What do you do? Like, do y'all have chiggers real bad too? And gnats?
Yes. Not as bad. Like only in like... typically only get into chiggers in like the tall grass close to bodies of water. So I haven't dealt with it too much this year, but yeah. And then every once in a while, depending on the rain, we'll get like the, whatever you want to call them, no-see-ums or white socks or those small little black flies that'll just chew you up. But that's typically further north than here, like, or more northern Minnesota type stuff where you have just a different, I don't know what it is that they bloom out of, but whatever, must be pine trees around water or that kind of, just whatever foliage they live in.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing wants you to punch somebody's lights out more than getting a horse fly bite you on your back while you're fishing. Oh, it would make you madder than hell.
Yep. Yeah, or the top of the foot, so your whole foot turns into a football.
I've never had that happen.
Oof, rough.
It's saying, yeah, like evidently mosquitoes kind of shaped human history. I'd have to read that. It's from the Smithsonian, but I could not have lived back in those days. We did Squad Fest for 2 days, and it's outside, 90-degree heat, and like I felt like just nasty. Don't want anybody touching me. I'm done talking to people. Like but like that was normal. That was normal to people back then. Just feeling gross all the time.
Right.
Just work all day, sweat. Might take a bath, might not.
And I feel like your body would eventually start. I mean, there had to be some self-regulation. Like your body, just like whatever bacteria that we had back then. It didn't hopefully it didn't smell as bad. But I do know that there's like historical stuff of like basically like jamming potpourri in your clothes, so you don't stink so bad.
They had to stunk. That's why they had June weddings. People got married in June because that's when people would take a bath.
And September babies because nobody wanted to have sex any other time. So listen, we got a 2-month window to do this. If we don't do it, I don't want to touch you.
With some nasty ass people.
I mean, and nobody brushed their teeth a long time. The toothbrush is relatively modern, so it's like just.
You know who was very clean and big on grooming were the Vikings.
The Vikings, yeah, they all had a comb.
And I don't know if they brushed their teeth. I don't know if they brushed it.
I think they did. I think they did.
The natives used to use, I think it was pine deals. And they would chew pine deal on their teeth.
Yeah,
I can't stand to not brush my teeth. I'm telling you right now, I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I don't know how
get that fuzz going.
I can't understand how people can go, I don't know if I brush my teeth for 2 or 3 days. How the fuck do you not know that?
Well, now hold on, because some of that can be taken to excess though, right? Like
I brush my teeth too much.
Scrub the enamel off of your teeth.
I have scrubbed the enamel. I had a dentist ask me, he goes, how often do you brush your teeth? I said, at least 3 times a day. He said, do you brush them hard? Fuck yeah, my toothbrush looks like Fred Flintstone's been walking around on it after about 2 weeks. It's like it's all flat and shit. Like when me and Michelle travel and we put all of our stuff together, there's no denying whose toothbrush is whose.
Jeff's all splayed out. Like he's just got the plastic basically rubbing up against it now.
She's like, how old is that? Oh, we got that 10 days ago.
There was another interesting thing about human diet changing. Like a long time ago, our jaws were wider, so like our wisdom teeth would come through, but we needed them. And like now our jaws are narrowing, and that's why we're getting crowding of the teeth and crooked teeth, and that's relatively new. But a long time ago, our diet was mostly uncooked vegetables and raw meat, so you had to chew a lot.
Right. And now we're becoming soft.
We're soft and narrow jawed.
Vegetarians are killing us.
Yeah, they're killing us. Cooking your food has just done nothing but damage.
I'm gonna get one of those rubber balls, the Jazzerciser.
Do that. Start gnawing on it. You got a 100-mile hike, so like you might as well have something to do.
I know, that's right. Just change the whole facial structure.
Just do that you'll get to Fargo and they'll be like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
I bet the Vegas odds are on September 13th, 14th, and 15th. If you have the luck that I have, it's either 100% chance of rain and high in the mid 50s.
I would
blowing out of the north at about 30 miles an hour, or it's going to be 107.
Yep. I'm betting one way or the other. I don't know which one I'd rather have. I guess rain probably. I'd rather have.
I just looked at the extended forecast for Devil's Lake, and it's going to be like 73, 74 for a high in 10 days. So a drastic cool off there. The guys are all shooting. When goose season start? Today up there? This weekend?
Must have been over the weekend.
Yeah.
Or is it always like the 15th?
It might have been yesterday. Might have been Monday. I think because
might have been yesterday.
I think it only runs for.
I think it does start the 15th. It's probably opening day today. Then
I know the Pacific guys are out there right now.
Have you seen? I hadn't seen nobody else's picture, so I'm assuming it opened today. And I haven't seen a bunch of stacks of pictures, so I'm assuming there's not a lot of guys having a lot of luck, or if they are, they're not saying a damn thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's always hit or miss, I'm sure there was some people that just smashed them. And then I bet there was a lot of people that just went out there and swatted flies and mosquitoes. And
I don't care what.
Drank a bunch of beer.
I don't care what you did, and I hope you had a good time. I'm glad you're hunting.
That's right.
But
yep,
I just could not get into shooting geese August 15th when it's 100 degrees. Just not my.
Even like one day of it.
I don't
scratch that itch a little bit and then go back.
I don't have that big itch.
You can shoot 8.
I don't give a shit.
Or no, 15.
I wouldn't give a shit
15.
if it was 42.
I bet they are greasy.
I don't want to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Do you also feel like you're shooting geese at the zoo on this deal?
Yeah. The worst part is the fleas when you're cleaning them.
Hell no.
Now, when you say fleas,
jumping off.
Oh, they jump off because when we teal hunt, they have those little water bugs on them.
Yeah, it's not the water bugs. It's like actual.
And they'll
like
hop on you?
they're. Oh yeah.
Ooh, I'm out on that, I think.
Oh, a guy messaged me and told me when the cold front hit, they had a flock of Canada geese come to Lubbock yesterday. Now, I don't know that they didn't come from
geese all year long in Lubbock.
His place, they haven't had geese. I don't know if they didn't come from a different spot north of Lubbock and come to him. He said, we got a north wind and we had Canada geese show up. If they were big geese, they're probably locals.
They're already migrating.
Yes.
But
teal are going to be moving.
When did they get their flight feathers back? So, I mean,
recently.
The birds might have just gotten their flight feathers and flew out of town.
I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that.
I'll poke holes in that theory all day long. I'm not losing that bet.
I'll bet. I still bet if you find some water, I bet there's some teal here now. I bet we could go right now to a place north of here, and I bet there's teal on it. Yes, we had a 20-mile-an-hour north wind. We had a front hit, a good front. We went down 20 degrees. We went from 110 to 90.
That is no shit. There was a 20-degree temperature change.
That's awesome. I bet that felt good.
Well, from what it was been, it was. I think this morning it was 71.
I told somebody this is the first time in about a month that it hadn't been closing in on 100 degrees by lunch.
Yes.
And it was 88, and I felt like I'd won the lottery.
I talked to Douglas yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, it's 90 today." Like, oh my god! I said, "Shit, that's nice. It's been hotter than hell. 90 degrees is not bad.
I'll take it."
It's that time of year though.
So where all are you going this hunting season, fall and winter? You got any good plans?
I have a lot of tags. I got a lot of deer tags. I'll hunt North and South Dakota, hunt Montana, Colorado, and then kind of see how the fall ends up shaping up after that. But it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good one. I don't, the last couple of years have been up in Alaska, moose hunt a couple of years ago that didn't kill anything, and then last year Josh and I went up to Kodiak right at the end of the year and shot black-tailed deer. But we no overwhelming plans this year, which is kind of nice for a change.
Hey, you haven't filled your moose tag yet?
Not yet. Nope, got to go back.
You got like 2 years worth of meat if you ever fill that thing up.
Well, it's a good eating animal.
I know. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I've seen the price of like beef, and I'm thinking about shooting a freaking doe in October. Just because I don't want to shoot. Yep. That's like my last time of having any free time because waterfowl season ramps up, and I don't know.
Why don't you let the boys shoot a couple of deer, and then you can clean them? Well, you don't want to clean a deer though, do you?
No, I'm gonna take it to somebody.
Take somewhere
take
else.
It to a guy. I'm gonna take it to a guy. How long does it take you to work your way to a deer?
It depends on how often I'm around.
Right.
But the nice thing is my wife likes venison too. So like when we have deer in the freezer, like we'll typically go through at least, make a pound a day, whether it be using it burger or, making actual burgers with it or steaks or roast or whatever. So, if we're eating on it, it's like whatever, it's 75 meals or whatever it is, if you have just the cuts and ground stuff. So
that moose will last you maybe 5 years then if you're eating one deer's lasting you a long time.
Well, the cool thing about if I go up and kill a moose, there will be a lot more get-togethers and cooking really big meals. I love doing that.
I ate moose in Alaska one time. We were up there and a guy shot a moose and he brung us some fillets. He brung us like 6 fillets. There was 4 of us there. Best moose I've ever had in my entire life. Right. Now, I was forced to eat duck or goose before that, so moose tasted really good. But I like moose. Moose is very, very good.
Oh, it's amazing. Yep.
It's probably my favorite of any, but it's such a
dense cut of meat. It's rich.
It's a big animal.
Very rich. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're giant. I've had not a lot of moose, but like I've had big tomahawk steaks from a moose and just, different cuts and stuff. And it's all been very good. I think my favorite is antelope.
Oh, really?
But moose. Yeah. Antelope is awesome. And a lot of people will tell you that it sucks.
Oh,
but
the antelope I had tastes like a lanolin.
Well, it depends on their diet, right? The ones that are eating sagebrush.
It's not so much the diet; it's how fast you get them on ice. So a lot of guys who say they have bad antelope, if it's rifle season, they shoot a rutted up antelope and then it sits in the back of the truck until their buddy shoots an antelope. Every antelope that I've killed, it is dead, skinned, and on ice within like an hour and a half. And so even one that I had to like chase for a while with my bow and finally killed him, I was like really worried that it was not going to taste good, and it was just fine because I had cooled him down immediately. So it's just all how long that hide sits on there and how hot that meat stays.
It's crazy because back a long time ago, the guys from Texas would go to Colorado and they'd shoot an elk or a moose or mule deer or whatever. And then you'd see them and they'd strap them on the front of their truck. And they drive back to Dallas from Colorado, and it'd be at 95 degrees here still. And then they'd get home and say, that meat don't taste good. Well, fuck no, it's been cooking for 16 hours on your truck. Take care of the meat. That's what wild hogs are that way. You can kill a big, rank, nasty-ass big boar, and if you take care of the meat and get the back straps off of them, the pork loin's really, really good 90% of the time. I mean, you'll have an old, nasty boar that's going to, but most of the time it's good, but it's how you take care of your meat. And I'm getting to think that way on ducks too. I've had some duck recently that was not that bad, but they left the fat on it.
Got to keep fat on it.
And we just don't do that here.
Well, time-wise, it's tough to do. Like if we had one poor guy down there and he's got to pluck 50 birds, like he's going to be he better start tomorrow.
I saw a video the other day. A guy did pluck some green-winged teal.
Really?
And cooked them, and they looked really good. They looked like they were medium rare. Looked like something if you served it to me and I ate it, I'd be like, I don't know, it's a duck, and then I'd eat it. Like, that's not bad.
Right.
What I started doing a lot is you pluck the breast way back, but then you just clean it from the outside in rather than just cleaning each breast. So you cut from the outside and then up over the breastbone, but you keep all that fat in the breast on that one chunk of fat. If that makes sense?
Explain it again.
So you pluck the breast way back, and then you start on the outside of the breast instead of like down the breastplate. And so you cut under the breast up, and you tuck right along that breastbone, but you keep the fat attached. And so you go up and over that breastbone back underneath the other breast. And so you have both the breasts are stuck on that fat still. And that's a really good way to clean it.
I'm going to send you a video on how I do the teal. So basically it's similar. But what I do is I go in, so I go in the top of the breast, in the middle, I go in the top and then out the side, and then in the middle or on the top and then out the side. And then I take my two fingers like this and then just pull. And then you've got like a little flap.
Sure. You've butterflied
basically
it's the exact same thing, just different.
And you're leaving the fat on it.
For those I didn't, just because, whenever the teal that I did in this video, I did like the dove tactic with cream cheese and then gorgonzola and then yellow cheese, whatever, Kobe Jack or whatever, and then kind of fill that up with that mixture and then wrap it with bacon and jalapeno and do it that way. So, but what it does, it just holds that shit from spilling all over your grill.
Yeah.
Rather than having two individual breasts and a sandwich.
Right.
But you just do it with the fat on it.
Yeah. Yep. I did a collab video with Shields on the Public Land Tees Instagram page. I'll send it to you.
Shoot it over.
They got a cool store.
Shields?
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Really, that store they have in Frisco or Allen in North Texas is an amazing store.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new ones popping up. They've got one in Chandler, Arizona popping up. Wichita's coming. I think they have like 3 or 4 popping up this year.
It's crazy how these stores come and go. Like, I was a really big Cabela's guy more than Bass Pro Shops. So now Bass Pro's bought Cabela's, so it's the same shit. I mean, so I don't even, like, we used to go, when we'd go somewhere, and let's go to Cabela's. Well, you'd walk around and see the same stuff. I don't care about going in one of them. Mm-hmm. But I went into Shields last year, and I was impressed with it. They just had the quality of what they had, I really liked. It's a nice store.
Yeah,
I would recommend.
They really
I would recommend it to anybody.
They work really hard on carrying all the high end brands, and then the other thing that Shields does well is they actually train their sales staff a lot. Like if you are a salesperson at Shields, you go through a lot of training of like the different, like what your category is. So if you're in the archery shop, you go through training for all those products. If you're in the gun shop, you go through training for all of those products. So you can actually speak to it and help people understand like what they actually need rather than just like, yep, here it is.
It makes a big difference because like if I worked in a bow shop, people would be screwed. I don't know shit about bows. So it wouldn't do no good. Aren't you in the hunt business? Been in the hunt business over 30 years. What kind of bow do you think I got? Well, fuck, I don't have a clue.
Not a clue.
I don't.
I hire a guy.
I get a stick and put a string on it and put a rock on another end of the stake and shoot something. I don't know nothing about bows at all. And I don't know much about rifles. I get guys all the time, they're coming out to shoot, a pig. Well, do you think I should use a Creedmoor this? And I don't even have a clue what a Creedmoor is.
Or they're impressed because they're a hand loader and they're telling you like their special concoction to take down this pig. And I'm like,
sounds good.
I don't get it.
That's great.
Will it work? Will it go boom when you pull the trigger? A+ for me.
Glad you spent time on that.
Drift 6 foot to the left at a half mile. Well, I wouldn't be shooting nothing a half mile then probably. Yeah. I mean, I don't know nothing about that shit, so I don't pretend to either.
Right.
You know, but
and that's
you put me in the waterfowl section, I could talk all day to you.
Yeah.
But because I understand that. But that's a really good ideas from Shields because I've noticed that when you go to a lot of other box stores, you got people that don't know what they're doing. I used to have guys all the time and say, "Where did I buy my license at?" It was before everybody bought them online because that's where I tell everybody to go now. You can just stop at Walmart. Then they come in here and they got the wrong license. Well, yeah, they got a girl from the bra section is covering for some guy at Sporting Goods, and so she showed you a hunting license, and what you got was a varmint trapping license and not a hunting license.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah, Walmart's cost a lot of people a lot of money.
Yes.
But
sure has.
Well, listen, if you get a wild hair up your ass and want to come down here this winter, you've always got an open invitation, and we can shoot some speckle bellies with you. Be a lot of fun.
I appreciate it.
Have you out here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good luck this next month, and we're going to be keeping tabs on you and tracking your progress and all that good stuff. So
I'll tag you guys in some of the training stuff when it kind of gets out there or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And tell everybody one more time how they can get involved with this.
Yep. So if you want to donate and help out, publiclandtees.com. The donation page will be live as soon as possible, and we're working on that today. But it'll probably be live by the 21st for sure. And then if you want it, the biggest thing is I need eyeballs and ears on all this stuff. So if you can share it, if I post something about the duck ruck, if you can share it to your story, tag me, I'll reshare it. I figure if I can get 1.5 million eyeballs and ears on this project, we'll raise the 100K and do a lot of good for wetlands and try to put a few more ducks over your guys' decoys.
Perfect. Well, listen, you're doing a lot of good work for waterfowl hunters, and it's an important cause because it is a dying breed. So we need all the money and resources we can. So good on you, and tag us and all that stuff, and then we'll share it and do all that good stuff. So it's always a lot of fun talking to you, my friend. And like I said, you got an open invitation down here in Texas if you ever want to head out. So
good deal. Well, thanks, guys.
Be safe.
Appreciate all the help.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk to you, Sam. Soon. God bless you, and good luck, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Sam Soholt.
You should do a 100-mile walk for a good cause, Andy.
I don't have any good causes in my...
From here to the lodge to town is 10 miles. You can do it 10 times. 5 times back and forth. Ed walked to town once. You can do it.
So you'd have to do it. So you'd have to go to do that in 3 days. You have to come out here. No, it'd be backwards. You have to start here.
I'm waiting, trying to figure out your math on this.
Trying to figure out how to get to...
You got 3 days.
Trying to figure out where...
33 miles
I want to get to where I'm going without having to have a vehicle. So I drive out here, walk to town, No, that still wouldn't work because it's an odd number. Figure out,
you just leave your...
I'd have to have Jesse bring me out here, walk to town, walk back, and then walk back to town.
Yep.
And there's my 30 miles.
That's right.
I don't know. It's funny. I had a bad day of running on Saturday. I didn't have breakfast, and I think that was what caused it.
Did you get lightheaded?
Oh, fuck, did I? And the weather wasn't. I ran because I met my wife and the boys in Wichita to go spend the day. So I ran in the morning because I was meeting them at lunch. So I wasn't going to be there for my 2:30 run, but I did not have breakfast, kind of woke up, had coffee, got out the door, did my run, and it was a bad running day.
So you had caffeine, no food, and ran. Probably not a good deal.
And a fucking seeing spots coming around that corner. It was bad. I was ready for that shit to be over. But it was funny because we had just talked to Clay about when he wakes up, he knows it's going to be a bad, or when he first takes that first step, he knows if it's going to be a good run day or a bad run day. And I had a bad run day, but it was a run day. Is there anything good? Is there ever a good run day?
Yeah, there is.
I don't like running.
Well, then it's probably not going to be very many good days. But if you ever run a lot and you get those endorphins or whatever it's called going, it feels good.
I've never gotten there. Tony said he used to run a lot, and he'd get that runner's high.
I used to run every night, and I loved it.
Well, how far would you have to? When does that runner's high kick in?
I used to run 2 to 4 miles every night, like clockwork, 10 o'clock at night.
Where would you start getting tired?
I didn't.
Oh, never.
I was in good shape.
Oh,
I used to run. I mean, I would run 2 to 4. I would be sweating in July and August, but I would run at 10 o'clock at night.
But you never had to like push for another half mile or anything?
No, I was in good shape. Oh. And I ran fast.
Right.
I run, I would run 2 miles in 12 minutes, 15 minutes.
That's not possible.
I'd run, it is 6-minute miles.
Jeff, that's like.
No, it's not. I was in good shape. I ran a lot. I could run 4 miles in 30 minutes. And I'd do it all the time. I ran every night, every single night. If I was going out, I would run before I went out. I was in great shape. I weighed 205 pounds, and I ran every single night. I ran at least 6 nights a week.
You know, the first person that ran like a 4-minute mile was just like a scientist or whatever?
I don't know. I wouldn't run no 4-minute mile.
No, I know that. But forever they said the 4-minute mile was impossible. And then one guy was just, he wasn't even a runner.
The guy that hit a sub 4-minute mile. The guy that went under 4-minute mile.
But he wasn't a runner.
Oh, well.
He just was tired of people saying that 4-minute mile was impossible.
I'd run 6.
Roger Bannister.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on, they did a whole thing about it on Winning Time in the first season. Oh.
Well, anyways, I used to run a lot. And so, but I don't know that I got a high. It just felt good to run.
I don't know about all that.
Now, I did not run in the winter as much as I did in the summer.
Well, no.
December, January, and February, I did not run as much. I would run. I used to go to the wine run, but I didn't like running inside. And the wine, Wichita Falls, has got a track above the gym, and so you'd have to do 23 laps. Well, try to keep up with 23.
Yeah.
And then people try to talk to you and shit.
But I like running at the track because I like to know exactly how far I've gone.
I liked running I had a lap that I ran where I lived at, and I would run in the country, and it was a 2-mile trail.
Right.
And I would run almost full speed the whole way.
Not me.
But I also was in really good shape, but I ran all. But that's what I did. I didn't go lift weights. I ran. That was what I did. But it was after working all day long. I worked at a furniture store, delivering furniture all day, up and down stairs, carrying 300 and 400 pound desks. You're just in shape. You get used to it. And it was hot. Our warehouse wasn't air conditioned, so in the summertime it was warm. But you just got used to it.
It's what you got to do now. You just got to get used to it, kiddos. Got that dog in them. Those 80 babies, those 80s babies. No, 60s, 70s.
Well, late 60s.
Y'all had that dog in y'all.
We just grew up poor, and we didn't have air conditioning. I wrote that on my page the other day, and it was how many people had wrote that the same thing. I did not get air conditioning until I was a sophomore in high school. None of my schools had air conditioning.
Fuck that.
None.
You can't learn in that environment.
We had no problem doing it at all.
You can't learn in that environment.
Can. People are soft.
When we were in Costa Rica, all of the schools there, none of them had windows. It was all like,
open air.
Yeah. But I don't think that they have the extreme heat that we do.
No.
I mean, it's going to be humid as fuck, and your pages are probably going to get wet. But almost all of the schools that we drove by, like a little village, the school and church were open air.
I remember sometime. Now, we didn't start school back then until September. We started after Labor Day.
Right.
And we got out at Memorial Day. So we missed the dog days of August.
Yeah.
But I still remember some Septembers and some Mays before school got out that it was pretty warm in class. But we had windows we opened up until I think I was a sophomore in high school at Old High when They got air conditioning in elementary after I left. They got junior high in Wichita Falls got air conditioning after I left. And then we got them in high school. I think I was a sophomore when we got them at Old High. And that was the first time we'd had air conditioning. And I didn't have air conditioning at my house until I was 12. We had central heat and air at 12. But until then, we didn't have it. But it wasn't that bad. You get used to it.
Modern entertainment's going to be the death of hunting in the outdoors.
Yes. I think there's
way easier just to sit around and not do anything. Probably going to be the death of everything.
We don't have country kids anymore. Like, up until the last 10 years, every generation had kids that would go out and ride around and shoot hogs at night, and they would varmint hunt, and they would do this and that. These kids today don't do shit.
The outlaw's gone.
No, there's not very many of them left. And I'm sure there are. I don't have a kid in high school. I'm sure there's a couple of kids that still do that kind of stuff, but they just don't do it like they used to.
I don't know.
But it's because we have all the entertainment on our phone and shit.
You don't ever see kids riding around anymore.
No. But I'm not out looking around.
I'm looking, Jeff.
Well,
I want to see what the kids are doing now.
You've got a son that's going to be driving in about 8 years.
Yep. So, but they don't ride around. Number one, gas is fucking too expensive. What kid can afford to just go dick around and burn gas on a Friday night?
Yeah, it was a lot easier when gas was 70 cents a gallon.
Yeah. You put $100 bill into that tank and you think about where you're going.
When I was in high school, you could buy $5 worth of gas and we could ride around all night long.
Yeah.
That was probably 6 gallons of gas, and cars back then probably got 15 to 20 miles a gallon, and we were in town, so we weren't using a lot of gas anyways, but that was it. It's $5. If 4 of us went out, $5 would buy the gas for the night, $10 would buy all the beer we could drink, and then $5 would buy Taco Mayo at the end of the night on 10-cent tacos, and we could get 50 tacos.
Nope, not anymore. We went to Raising Cane's yesterday. Reese wanted to try it. He never tried it, wanted to know what all the hype was about. We drive past it all the time.
There's no hype.
For the 3 of us, it was $40. And it's just chicken fingers.
It's not that good either, I don't think.
Poor Reese was a little bit disappointed.
He didn't like it?
He liked it.
He liked Chick-fil-A better.
Well, when he looked at the menu, he was just like, it's just chicken fingers.
What do you expect?
Like, yeah, it's what you can either get chicken fingers regular or you can get chicken fingers on a sandwich. Oh.
What was he wanting?
He didn't know what it was. It's a restaurant that is on that main drag that we drive by every time, and he wanted to try it.
So he will go to Chick-fil-A next time.
I don't know. He liked it. They got that good sauce, but it's just chicken fingers is all it is.
Your little brother is out of town, and he's in San Antonio working right now.
Right.
And he called last night, and he was talking about food, and he goes, man, I'm home in Texas. I wanted some Chicken Express.
Oh. Closed?
And they don't have any close to where he's at in San Antonio. Really? I was like, that's crazy. He goes, maybe it's a North Texas deal. I said, well, see if they got Golden Chick, because Golden Chick and Chicken Express are pretty close. But he wanted chicken and gravy. And Chicken Express is really, really good. And he wanted Taco Casa, and they didn't have it, but they had Taco Bell, and he don't like Taco Bell. And I like Taco Casa a lot more than Taco Bell, too.
I'm skipping both of them.
You don't like Taco Casa?
I don't like either. No. There was a burger shop in Wichita Falls I want to try. It's called Freddy's.
Yeah, Freddy's. It's over there by
real thin
McAllister.
patties. It looked like we didn't eat there. We had ice cream there.
It's steak and shakes.
Is it?
That's what I think Freddy's steak and shakes.
No, it's Freddy's frozen custard and burgers.
Yeah, okay, not steak and shakes, but it's the same. That's what I'm thinking of, though.
Right.
But it's custard, right?
Yeah, custard.
Is that what y'all had?
Yeah. We went in there and had ice cream before the immunizations that Jameson had to get. Telling you what.
How did he do with that?
He took it like a champ, but last night I was about to have a big issue. He ran a fucking fever last night.
Oh, from the vaccines. Yep.
But
better this morning?
Yeah, he's back to 100%, but like he got his shots at 4-ish, a little bit before, and then like by 8 o'clock at night he was complaining about being cold. And then he started shivering. And then we put a blanket on him. And yeah, he had a fever. Woke up about midnight, just like delirious. And I was like, motherfucker. About to be like every other one of those horror stories that we've ever heard about these goddamn vaccines that they make these kids get. But he's better today.
What did he have to have vaccine for?
MMR.
What is that?
Measles, mumps, and
rheumatoid.
whatever that is. And then
It's not rheumatoid arthritis, but
No,
I know what you're talking about because we had to have them when we were kids.
What was the other one? Diphtheria or whatever that is.
Those are the pretty common ones, though.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, they're not DTaP vaccine.
And then they've got to go have them before they go to college. You have to have a vaccine.
Diphtheria. What is that word? Tinnitus? No, tennis?
Tinnitus.
No.
Tetanus.
Oh, tetanus. Duh. And pertussis vaccine. But yeah, they're very common. And I mean, I get it. But like when he woke up at 12 o'clock and was in that like delirious state and had his eyes fixed at the ceiling and wasn't really like looking at us, but was screaming out, I was like,
I hate that shit.
we're gonna be a statistic here.
I'm surprised today, to this day, still as many people. Did you see where the number 2 basketball player in the state of Alabama fell over dead, 17 years old?
No, I didn't.
Yep, playing basketball and just fell over dead. 17 years old, perfect health.
Rubella, measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah, and I'm surprised someone hasn't drugged Fauci's ass out and beat the fuck out of him. I really am. I'm surprised one of these parents, because you can say what you want to about the myocarditis. Is that what that's called? Myocarditis. That shit was not common like it is now.
No.
I'm not saying that some people didn't drop over dead, because they did. We all know that. You know, during 2 days in Texas when it's hot, usually one kid a year dies from heat stroke. It happens. But this shit with just kids falling over dead and stuff, LeBron James and shit doing it, if he wouldn't have been at USC at practice, he would have died probably. It's because of that freaking vax.
Mm-hmm.
And now the FDA has come out now and said
ivermectin's okay.
Yeah, so
it's
all the shit we got
in
trouble for now is what you need to go to my. But that stuff is, if you got your kids vax, I'm scared to death because 2 of my boys had to have it, and it bothers me. But I'm surprised someone has not drugged Fauci's ass out somewhere. And he's such a little cocky little fucker too. I saw him. Rand Paul was asking him about it the other day. He was being a smart ass to him, you know. And he said, "We don't have to let you know if we got to check. You was getting paid. First of all, the taxpayers are funding this shit, and you're getting paid by all these companies that after you're making people get these. It's bullshit."
I did see where we're giving another 200 million or billion probably to the Ukraine.
No, they asked for 40 billion.
I think we're giving them 200.
Cut them fuckers off.
But in Hawaii, we're going to give you $700.
Yeah,
we're going to give everybody in Hawaii $700.
That way, the wealthy people can go in and buy that property up.
Well,
something fishy's going on there. One way or the other. I did see a picture of their of this where those high wires and shit there. No wonder they had a fucking fire. They had all that undergrowth and they hadn't done nothing in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody wants to give all this going green bullshit's the biggest crock of shit. And the people that are pushing the going green are the some bitches that own 4 homes, have private jets. That's the people pushing this stuff, you know? And we just buy into it. We are the dumbest people in the world as a United States citizen.
Bought off by comfort.
Yep. I saw a deal in Japan. You know, Japan's life, their life expectancy is like 88 years old.
Yeah, it's close to 90, yeah.
It's way, way, way up there.
Right.
And they have zero crime.
Yep.
0. I saw a deal and was talking about all this smash and grab. I guess is it 50 Cent that's in LA? It's 50 Cent. That's not, what's the one that's married to Beyonce? Who's he?
Jay-Z.
Okay, well, it's 50 Cent. He said, LA is done. Put a fork in it. It's done. He goes,
Jay-Z said that?
No. 50 Cent did.
Oh.
He said, this town is done. He goes, this no bail stuff is ridiculous. He goes, you let these people rob and steal and shit, then you don't put them in jail and they're out doing the same. He said, what do you think? Why are they going to stop?
Well, and then you fire the people that call 911.
Yes.
Because you got people robbing them.
He said, this place is done. And he had some people come out and he said, look, it goes on in Japan. He goes, in Japan, you can put your products outside. You don't have to have somebody watching it. He said, you do that shit in LA and they'll steal every damn thing you got within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no home. There's no dads and moms. It's a free for all, and it's ridiculous about how. And he was explaining the difference between Japan and California. You know, now Japan has one culture.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
And that makes
it's not a
difference.
melting pot.
No.
Everybody feels like they're a part of the same team.
Yep, honor, respect, and they respect their parents. They respect their elders, and they respect someone else. Plus, if you get caught stealing, you go to jail for 3 years. He had the breakdown of what it was. If you get caught doing something, you go to jail for a year, 3 years. And you don't get bail. You go sit in jail till your time's up. Right. So if you get caught stealing a Rolex over there, you're going to jail for 3 years. Your ass ain't going to go home and wait for 6 months to go to trial. You sit in jail until your 3 years is up. And that's what we need.
Tell you what, poor 50 Cent probably has the worst first pitch ever.
So the guy stands up for America. Now you're going to crucify him for throwing a bad. He can't be as bad as Mom Jean wearing Obama did.
He's bad.
I figured he was an athlete too.
No, he's just a fighter. He just survived. He just took those shots 7 times, Jeff. I think. I don't remember. I'd have to go listen to his lyrics again.
I don't know. I don't even know if any of his music.
50 Cent, he's got some good stuff.
I'm sure he probably does. I just don't know who they are.
Here he is, Curtis Jackson. Come on out. Uh-oh. Is he not going to show it?
He grew up in L.A., didn't he?
New York.
Okay, this ain't the guy then. This guy here grew up.
No, he did.
It grew up in New York that I'm talking. I mean, grew up in L.A. It was talking about L.A. going to shit. I think it was 50 Cent, though.
It was 50 Cent. I just saw it whenever I looked at this.
Oh, they're talking about.
Yeah, he said, I told y'all L.A. was done.
Yep.
Maybe this will show it. Did you see the one guy that got hit in the nuts? He's like standing back there. That's not him, obviously. Who's that? Mark Wahlberg didn't do good. I figured Mark Wahlberg would have been okay.
Maybe they try to get too fancy up there.
Think so? I saw where, and you can take this for whatever it is. Here's 50 Cent.
Whoop. Jesus Christ. God almighty. How can you be that bad? Fuck.
My bad.
I mean, that's terrible.
Like, the camera guy wasn't safe.
But he looks like a man at least. Have you seen Obama throwing the ball out?
No.
Oh, you can tell he went to the gay bathhouses in Chicago. Oof.
Bush, he threw the first pitch after 9/11, remember?
I'm sure he did.
And they told him, if you bounce it over the plate, they're going to boo you out of here.
He get it across?
He did.
Well, he owned a baseball team before he was president.
Yeah. But he said they made him wear a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, I remember that.
What a time to be alive, though. I mean, probably were lied to about what actually happened, but at least we were all united.
That was the last time in my life probably the only time in my life that we've been that way, other than the bicentennial year.
Bicentennial year.
1976. They had a freedom train that come through town, had all kinds of neat shit on it.
But he said he's never been more nervous than he was right here. World Series, Game 3, first pitch, Yankee Stadium. They made him put on a bulletproof vest underneath that sweater. October. I mean, what are we, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away? Or 3 weeks out of
5 weeks.
A month maybe?
Yeah.
Do they play at the end of October or middle of October?
They play late October.
And right in New York City.
Do you know when my mom was a kid, they got to watch the World Series on TV at school?
No, I didn't know that.
It was during the day games, and they got to watch it.
Right down the middle.
Good throw.
Not bad, but they did. They told him right before he went out, if you bounce this over the plate, they're going to boo you. He didn't, but.
Show Obama's first pitch now.
I don't know. I mean, now looking at it, I have mixed emotions, but you can't deny that we were all united.
That we were.
Which one? 2009? It looks like he's done it several times.
I can't believe they bring in that some bitch.
Was it at Chicago or was it?
Probably Chicago or something. Watch him go out there with his old mom jeans. I think Michelle had the men's jeans. He's wearing her jeans.
I gotta get out of here after this. I got a meeting. Big meeting, Jeff. Big meeting. He was very presidential, though. Liar.
He's a full of shit, piece of shit, anti-American.
Yeah, but
he's the cause of all these problems we got.
Oh, look at him. He's all fancy.
Now throws the ball like a freaking flamer.
He got it over the plate.
Yeah, he throws like a flamer.
Well, he got it over the plate.
Mom
Jeff, he was probably fantasizing about male sex.
Yeah. Can you believe that shit?
If that's true.
I don't know why he didn't come out and said it wasn't.
Maybe he's got a bad shoulder. He couldn't reach back there very far.
Yeah, from doing hand jobs.
No, he just fantasized about it. Going to the bathhouses.
That's because he was a regular there. If you knew everything he done, I think people in America would be shocked. I think hates
you
America.
Would probably say, "Oh, well, I don't know about that."
But you think he doesn't hate America?
No. You said if you knew everything that he had done, you'd be shocked. I think you can say that about every president that we've ever had.
Now Trump's pretty much everybody knows.
They're suing him for
they can keep suing him.
Late video rentals.
They can do whatever they want to because the man is going to get elected. If in a fair election he wins in a landslide. People have had enough of this shit. You can lie all day long about how great the economy is. You can go about this shit. Tired of my money going to fucking Ukraine. Fuck Ukraine.
Well, another 200 million's going over there.
That's bullshit. We got people in Hawaii. It ain't just Hawaii. It's everywhere. Did you see where one of the big businesses in San Francisco wrote a letter to them and told them the mayor and the governor and everything about how we're closing our stores down here?
I don't blame them.
No, I wouldn't keep a business there, nothing.
But I think that it's a big push to go all online. That's why Lululemon's like, let them take it. Let them take it. Lululemon is wanting a reason to close the brick and mortar stores because you don't have the overhead. You don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay anybody a salary or anything like that. You pay people at home office and you just ship everything out there.
These
big companies are looking for an excuse to do away with.
Look at the waterfowl companies.
Yeah,
they all do that.
Yeah, the biggest names in waterfowl right now are all straight to your door.
Yeah. Someone asked me yesterday, said, how do I get Boss? I said, you just order it from there. I said, order it online. What do I need to do? And I gave him the number and I said, call and ask for Brittany's going to answer the phone probably. If not, ask for Brittany. Tell her I told you to call and order your Stanfield 9s. It's a real simple deal. They just don't sell them in stores. I said, no, why would you give Bass Pro Shops your money? Mm-hmm. He goes, that makes sense. I said, yeah. I said, all the waterfowl guys are getting away from all direct consumer now. That's the way it's going to be everywhere. I don't blame the stores for doing it. But I would not have a store in San Francisco. KJP, we went to his store, Kill James Patrick in Newport, Rhode Island. His store's a little store. He likes having a store there. He's got people working there. Profit margin probably is not what it is online, but he also don't have to worry. But he doesn't worry about people coming in and shooting up the shit. Right. You know, he ain't opening one up in San Francisco.
No. But what I don't understand that with people. Like they're like, well, why can't I get it at Bass Pro? Why do you need to go? Why do you got to get? Why? I mean, just go to work, order it, and in a couple days it'll be at your house. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's the way to go. I understand people that land on an airplane and they want to run and grab something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what? If you're coming out here, do like everyone else does. Have your Boss shell sent right to the lodge.
Well, but
I get a delivery every day. A case of shells comes here for somebody that's coming on a hunt during November and October, or starting in October and November. I get a bunch of shells every day, and I store them for you. Got your name written on them. You come in, I give you your shells. We love to have them shipped right here to you. We're going to have shells for sale here this year. As a matter of fact, I got 10 cases right now of 20 and 12 gauge number 9s, the Stanfield 9s for dove season. They're here right now. Anyways, thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day. Also, if you're not a member of our Facebook podcast page, not just the Big Honker Podcast, but the Big Honker Podcast group, which is a private page on Facebook, we've got a giveaway again. Corey at Double T is giving away another puppy. It's going to be a $20 raffle. You can Venmo or PayPal, whatever you want to do. The money is going to the Gold Star kids that will be here the last weekend in September. It's a great cause. That's where that money's going to. Is to the Gold Star kids. So, and if you don't know what a Gold Star kid is, a Gold Star kid is someone whose parents or our parent was lost fighting for our country and our freedom. Those kids will be here the last weekend in September. We're going to give away a puppy that Saturday night. So go look it up on the podcast page. Gives you all the details for a giveaway for another puppy. It's a raffle. It's a puppy of your choice whenever time of year you want one. That way you're not getting a puppy on October 14th. Whatever fits your schedule, you have a voucher for a puppy from Double T British Kennels. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Have a great, great, great weekend.
Check out our sponsors. Like Jeff said, go to BossShotShells.com and get the Stanfield 9 sent straight to your door. It is going to be great for you dove hunters and little duck hunters. Also, check out Dive Bomb Industries, Pacific Calls, Double T British Kennels, Stanfield Outfitters, Alpha Outdoor Specialties, Hemp Hill Farms, Mossberg, Ducks Unlimited, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Podcast, Shin Gear, and Dirty Duck Coffee.